dear Mr. Rodo, Matthias, Kumar, all the authors who have come from very far off places. It's really a pleasure to see all of you here, all my dear friends, people from, especially from the University of Cologne, and my dear friends. It is my pleasure to first of all introduce our chief guest of the evening, Mr. Roder, the Consul General of the German Consulate in Bangalore. And on this very important occasion, we are very happy that the editor of the book, Professor Dr. Matthias Pils, is here, and I'm delighted to introduce him. He is the director of the Center for Modern Indian Studies at the University of Cologne in Germany. He has published extensively in various international journals, and he has several books to his credit. He is also the editor of the book that is being released today. A warm welcome.
Welcome everybody, especially our consul from Germany, from the office here in Bangalore made it. You see that, and the transition from school to work is of high importance, not only in India but also in Germany and also in cooperation. Thanks also and welcome Kumar, thank you very much, both of you from the IIM Bangalore, that you host this presentation and this ceremony tonight. I'm very, very happy. But I'm also happy that all of you made it to come here by tonight. I know most of you had a really, really long trip to come here just for this event. And it's really difficult to mention everybody here tonight, but that was the idea. Afterwards we will have some food together, and hopefully we will have good discussion and say hello to each other. We know each other from many occasions in Germany or in India somewhere, from places in the north to the south. I will not talk too long because most of you already know about the book, but I will just say the why first, why this book might be of interest for readers in India, but all over the world, and especially for sure in Germany. As Professor Tara already mentioned, when we started to do research about India 9 years back, and since 5 years now we are running the Center of Modern Indian Studies, which is funded by the Federal Ministry of Education and Science in Germany, we found out that the research about training, labor market aspects, transition into labor market, vocational education and training and apprenticeship is existing in India, you know, but it's very much split off. Some are just publishing grey papers, university papers. Some are publishing small books somewhere. Some are just attending on conferences. All is very good, but what's missing at that time, and still is missing, is a proper book which brings, first of all, the knowledge together, but also bring researchers in India together. And I'm very thankful that Professor Palatino Rai made it, because when we met first, you said something must happen. I can remember. And that was a stage when also Professor Sodi from Delhi came over and said, I spoke to the German embassy in Delhi and I spoke to the German research agency. We should do a conference. And we did in 2012 in Delhi. And that book is an outcome of the idea something should happen. And we should work together. And that was a starting point to invite researchers from all over India who are interested in research in this field to become part of this project. And I'm so happy that we have senior ones with us, very much well-known and respected old and traditional researchers, but also the youngsters. I think this is important to have both. When I see Chandra Kumar and Muthu in the back, both are now with a title. When they started in this project, they hadn't a PhD. Now, you see, I think things are going on, and that was also the intention of the book. And when I see Tutan, you also now in your final stage to come up. And this is something I think is very important, not only looking for sure we need also the big names, but also we have to be careful to have youngsters in the team to give our knowledge back to the next generation of researchers. And I think this is also what happens with this book. So that was the why, and now I would change to the what. What is in the book? The book is a book which started from the beginning of primary school, and the idea what's going up in the mind of primary students about the shift between more technical vocational education or this traditional academic strain. And what we know from research is that even in primary we have to start to attract youngsters to these trades, these professions in the technical world, and not only in this pure academic world. And that starts in primary school. It goes on in secondary school. And we have all this in chapters in this book, with research findings, with policy reflections, and so on. And we not ending up with these. We are going on for secondary school up to grade 10, then to grade 12. And for sure we have included the ITIs, the polytechnics, the universities, because universities are also in charge to offer practical orientated courses which combine academic theory with practical work by using hands and brain in one thing and in one program. And furthermore, for sure, we had to look on labor market aspects. We had to look on, or we will have a look on, when you have the book in your hand, about further education, because youngsters are not ready with 20 or 24 years. We learn lifelong learning, or we should go for lifelong learning. So we have also implemented this, and for sure all which happen around informal learning, because in India informal learning is so important, and the informal sector plays such a huge role, and we couldn't just focus on the big companies who are doing fantastic training and so on. The informal sector is also of importance. You all know that around 70% are still living, of the population in India are living in the rural areas. So what are the programs for them, or what to enhance their learning in the field of that? That is another question. And I mean, I was really amazed by yesterday. We had an interview with a German manager from a company, and he said, "Oh, you are an academic? You are doing research on that? This is something totally different." And I said, "No, we are doing research on it to improve that. But we are still academics. Yes, we are academics, but this is our topic. Like another one has a topic like pneumatics or what electrician or whatever. Our topic is that. And this is something we have to keep in mind for the future, to go on with this networking and to build really a kind of research society in India with Indian researchers and maybe some German or other international researchers around, to form really a big team to offer the data for the policy makers which they can believe on. You might all know that one of our helpers also for this book, Santosh Mehrotra from Nehru University in Delhi, he was at a big conference with all the politicians, and you know, it's always this announcement: we have to train 500 million youngsters up to 2020. And he asked, and I was with him in Bhopal at this conference, and he asked, where is this number comes from? Where is it from? Do we have really reliable data? And then everybody was looking around, and the statisticians said, no, we do. It's approximately, but we don't know. And this is where it starts. We need proper research. For sure, we need quantitative research, but we also need qualitative research. What's really going on when you learn in the informal sector? And for example, that's the matter. I think it's so important for policymakers, but sure, also for international research. It's still a pity that so many research is going on, but if you look in the really international journals, in the English one, AAA journals, there are only a very few articles from Indian researchers on that. And I think we have to change this. There is so much going on and so much good research. And I think next step would be that you're a big country, and normally you have to fill 30% of all the papers in these journals because of your population and your great research landscape. That's another what I would say. Coming to the who, this is more important. When we started 4 years back with this project, I thought, oh, maybe we find 5, 6, 7 authors. We ended up with 26 authors. And I think it's really, really amazing. And yeah, thanks to you. And we were very, very, very happy. And I'm a little bit sad because I have to thank also Dr. Madhu Singh from UNESCO Hamburg. She did also a very, very good job to ask also around who can also give an impact to this book. So, but she couldn't make it tonight to come here. But I told her we will have this book launch and I will send some pictures. So she was a very important person in the first step to design the book. And we have 17 chapters in. So starting once again from primary, school system, but also university system, polytechnics and so on, ending up in lifelong learning and informal learning and labor market. So 17 chapters, 350 pages. You can imagine that's a quite expensive thing. And we are very happy that Springer Company, publishing house, said, yes, we do this. We do this also for the Indian market. And I said, if you do this also for the Indian market, you do it to another price. So we, very officially speaking, we negotiate that this book will be for example, IIIs or smaller universities or for rural institutes for half price. So they can afford it. And your paper, your chapters will be read also by them because they can afford this book. For the international audience, it's no problem. They can pay the full price. So, and please have a strong look that they really offer it for half price. If you find out it's for full price, send me an email and by tomorrow we will change. This is the deal. But we have to pay for, I had to pay for the book, and I'm very thankful that the German Exchange Agency and also the Federal Ministry of Education and Science in Germany have funded this book. So without this, we wouldn't be able to publish such a kind of book here in India for a reasonable price that not only researchers in IIM Bangalore or universities like Cologne or other big universities are able to buy this book. And I think this is something I would like to mention also. Just one last comment on the next step. First of all, I would like to invite you to advertise the book. Some of you have already studied marketing, so use your knowledge, your skills. For example, send us email folders with maybe ITIs or other institutes in education you're working with, and then we can spread it. By last week, we had a delegation from the new Ministry of Skill Development in Cologne in our university, and for sure I mentioned this book. And they said, please let us immediately know when it's on the market. So, end of this month, they promised us, it's also on the market worldwide. And just a friend of mine from Columbus University, Ohio, US, sent me an email and said, your book is on the market. I said, huh? How do you know? I got an email specially only for this book he got in the US already as an advertisement. So you see, I think all your chapters will be also spread not only in Europe or in India, but all over the world, which I think is the next further step. Future, last aspect I would like to mention. This is not the end of the story. We would like to go on because sustainability is also a matter in research. It's not just having one paper working together and saying goodbye. I mean, some of you I know since many, many years, and I have to mention Dr. Mutu. He did his PhD with me. He started when he was a master's student, very young boy, and now he had a full PhD from University of Cologne in Germany about enhancement in that for rural people And I think it's a role model for the next steps. And we are happy also to send our students over. And also a few months back, for example, students were here in IIMB, but also in Mumbai, I cannot tell where, all over in Delhi, wherever, and you host them. And I think that's the beginning of really cooperation we should go on with joint programs, joint projects, joint publications. So I'm looking at the watch and I'm watching you, and you might be hungry, and I'm so happy that we have also the console here. So it's your turn now. Thank you very much.
Thanks for inviting me. I'm always happy to be here. As a diplomat, I always feel when you give speeches, the unskilled about the skilled experts. But since at the consulate we are often engaged, with questions of vocational training, I feel not that bad that I feel I can say something about it. And you mentioned it already, that India faces great challenges, and I think the book, it's done today, but it also appears at the right time. There is the government heavily engaged in this topic, stakeholders are engaged, and there's a lot happening on the ground. And it's good that you have a scientific publication to be out at this time. And as it was mentioned, India faces great challenges. The age of the population, 29 average, China 37. Germany is one of the aging societies, 45 or 46, I think. Maybe with a lot of refugees it will go down a bit, but still a very different outlook at the moment. So this youth is a huge opportunity, but you have heard it, this demographic dividend can also turn into demographic nightmare if India is not getting ready for those challenges. But your research has shown that the gap which needs to be bridged, especially between the vocational training and the industry needs. Because often nowadays, as you know, ITIs don't produce the output that the industry needs. And how can school-to-work transition, college-to-work transition be mastered? And it's, as I said, it's reassuring to see that the union government tries to answer these questions. First, bridging the gap between skill training and employability as a major concern, and also with this Skill in India and Make in India initiatives. And this is a major task. I think I don't know, since I'm here among experts, my statistics says barely 2% of Indian workforce has formally acquired skills, and roughly 2.5% of the workers have technical education of any kind. And we operate always with 93% are still in the informal sector. I wouldn't use the 500 million numbers, because we always use it in our speeches. So give me a better one if you have better data in the future. So the numbers are huge. I think on that we can agree, and the millions who enter the workforce annually, they need to be skilled. Because in a more and more knowledge-based society, this is absolutely paramount. And otherwise, the gap between the have and have-nots when it comes to skilling is getting bigger and bigger. And since I'm the German consul, I want to speak about why Germany is a partner in this. First, it is our own system, vocational training, where we not only we have the system, but it also produces concrete results. We have among the developed countries by far, together with the other countries who have the similar system, the lowest youth unemployment rates. It's 7%. I mean, even in the US, I see here the numbers: 15, Canada 14, UK 21, Portugal, Spain 50, 40%, France 25. And there are reasons for that, and I think you can never transplant a model fully into onto another society, but you can take and adapt the system. And I think we have a lot of elements which can be adapted to India. when the German President Gauck visited Bangalore in 2014, and you might still recall Chancellor Merkel's visit to Bangalore together with the Prime Minister. I remember we decided, President Gauck visited Bosch, to see the vocational training, because that was one focus of the visit. When we designed the visit for Merkel, we said from the consulate, you should really see the R&D part of Bangalore. So we wanted to see RBI at Bosch, which we eventually did, but also SAP, the R&D centers. But the Indian side, no, we want to visit the vocational training center, because the political message for Modi was very important. Skill India, I want to see that. I want to see exemplary companies who do this skilling. And of course, in Bangalore, Bosch is a huge part of that story. And during these visits, both sides expressed their determination to expand not only trade and investment, but also to work together in skill development. And this visit of Chancellor Merkel, was part of this German-Indian government consultations, and we had several agreements, especially in the field of vocational training. So our Federal Minister of Education met the Indian Minister for Skill Development. They signed MOUs on qualification, vocational training. So there's a lot of things going on. But also, I said at the beginning, we as a consulate in Karnataka, we are constantly faced with these challenges. And I just allow me to mention some of the things we did in the last year. For example, the German Chamber of Commerce has its own vocational training in the chamber. They do, people from the technical sector into management training. Now it's even expanded into an academic wing. They do with the University of Applied Science in Reutlingen. Then most companies in, Bosch, one of them, they do their own in-house training. Then Bosch has recently adopted 25 ITIs in Karnataka and Maharashtra to support them, because not always the government takes up the role it should do. So there has to be corporate activity. Last May I was in Kerala, where the Barton College of Engineering, because they want to practically skill the people together. So in combination with the German major Mercedes, they are doing a practical course, and I was there at the first convocation. All the graduates were hired they were already placed once they graduated. And here in Karnataka, you have for the first time, I think, this Karnataka German Multi-Development Skills Center, where now skill centers in not only Bangalore, Gulbarga, Mangalore, Belgaum are established to skill on a broader basis. There are still challenges, training the trainers, pay structures, but I think it's a good effort and it's a model effort. We also have NGO projects, like from the consulate, we work very much together with Don Bosco, DB Tech. They work together with industries, but overall, they are often still island solutions, and I think the real challenge is to put it even on a broader basis. We talked with the director shortly about it. What we also need, I think, is a cultural shift, that you value manual labor more than it is now. But this is not, I find, only true for India. My last posting was Canada, and there too, you go to a community college, it's leftover in a way often. University, people go to university. So in the end, everybody has a degree, but the employability is a big task. I would maintain in the German system, this dual vocational system, which offers an independent streak, has a value itself, but it also has a compensation which can be compared, not only for the teachers, you know, they earn good money, but that also goes for the graduates. And I see, when I was recently again at a medical college and at KIMS in Trivandrum, private college, private hospital, and we were talking about they needed vocational training for some technicians who are in the ICU, ICU rooms, and we were talking that they have a very high attrition rate in nurses. So I asked, what do you pay? They said 7,000-8,000. What does a doctor get? First salary, 50,000. It's a private hospital. So it's 8-10 times as much, you know. My daughter does now her residency in Austria as a doctor, although her first year, she gets double what a nurse gets in her first 2 years. So there you see there's maybe a mismatch, you know. In the end, you need not only to value it by words, but also, I think, in compensation. So I think there has to be also structural, you know, decisions to be taken. How do you pay the trainers and how do you value manual work? So again, I am extremely happy that this book, this compilation, will equip not only academics but also practitioners with a lot of data, with a lot of tools to bring this very important topic forward. And I am sure it will help also India to get ready to face the challenges of that demographic dividend we are talking about. And yeah, it's good that it's being done now. 2012 you started the journey, and now we are here and you see the results. Thank you for allowing me to be part of it. Thank you very much.